What's up, guys? All right, today we're gonna start off with the third video of the Shed Chronicles. So I decided to try to recolor an antler today. This is the first one I tried. It real light, real watery still. Really didn't work too good. I then tried something else on a little shed deadhead that I had found. A little fork and horn, and it actually turned out pretty well. I just did one coat over it, and it actually recolored nice chocolate brown antler on this little deadhead, actually pretty well. So just thought it was pretty cool. If you guys would like to learn how I did that, post comments below and I will make a video to show you how I recolored this in about 30 seconds. Pretty easy, pretty simple, household items, and it actually looks pretty good. Nothing spectacular, but I recolored it pretty well. First one didn't go as well. Okay, I'm gonna start it off with this giant. This buck here is an absolute giant. This buck, we killed this buck. My dad actually killed this buck with his bow. No sights, no release, just fingers and shooting. This buck is absolute monster. 4x3. Got the velvet still like hanging off of him in little strings. Real bladed and thick here. He's got some nice mass, nice eye guards. He's got pretty long points. He's got about 23-inch, 24-inch main beams. He's weak a little bit here on his G2s. Doesn't have a G2 here, but he's got a real long G2. Well, G3, I guess. My dad actually called me and said he needed help trying to find this buck. He had hit him and couldn't find him, and I went over and we snuck in on him and helped him put an arrow in him and end him, and it was a great hunt. We really lucked out on this buck. It was a fun experience to spend it with him. Kill a buck of a lifetime like this. For a California blacktail, it does not get much better than this. Not much bigger than that either. Okay, so this shed here is either the biggest or the second biggest shed that I've ever found. Brown too. Found him this year when I really started getting into shed hunting. I found 7 browns in 2 days. Just heavy, thick, big mass. He's heavy, good eye guard. Just a great buck. I couldn't find the other side. I hunted for his other side 20 or 30 times. Real flat. This buck is heavy. I mean, this video is not even gonna do justice of how big this horn is. I mean, it is just, but I think I found the other side to him. I was out swathing, and I think my swather got him. The eye guard's broken off. He's broken here. Same mass. When you look at him here, probably was the same buck. If you look at him here from the backside, he lines up almost perfect here. Same mass. Eye guards are in the same place. Probably was his other side, and really saddens me because he would have been a monster set to find. Okay, so next up I have a buck that my dad killed that is just, I love tall bucks like this. He's only got one eye guard on his left side. Doesn't have one on this side. He's real white horn, real kind of freaky. Again, he's got a little curly velvet hanging off of him. Just a total cool buck. He's kind of weak on his G2s. Could have been a little longer, but he has really great tines. Nice tall buck. This is just an absolute giant blacktail. 4-point, very symmetrical. Great buck. We actually killed this buck not too far from that big giant he killed. This is just a total stud. Glad I helped him get this buck. Don't get much better than that. This deadhead here I actually found. This thing is old. Thought he was pretty cool. His horn's about to break here. He's got moss growing off of him, little holes in him. He's broken. Just super old buck. Cool. He was probably a fork, is my guess. Broken, but cool little buck. Okay. Next up, I have this little guy here that I killed. Just a nice little fork by 3. This was actually the first buck I ever killed with a bow, in velvet. Cool buck. He's got velvet hanging off him like most of our bucks do. Real white horn, just a cool little buck. About that, this buck here was a buck that we had killed. My dad killed him actually. Cool fork and horn. I love tall bucks. Just a real symmetrical, tall fork and horn. No eye guards, but just real tall and symmetrical, cool buck. Thought I'd share that with you guys. Okay, this buck here was a pretty special moment. This was my dad's first blacktail with a rifle in over 41 years. We went out for about 2 hours driving up there in the rain. About 4 o'clock, driving, my dad says, "Buck." He hops out, sees this little guy, and smoked him about 100 yards offhand in the neck. We ended up wondering what kind of buck he was. He's a bench leg. I don't know if you could see this. His horn's like cut off. He's got a little horn here, little horn here, little horn here. 5 by 3 bench leg, which is a blacktail and a mule deer. Cool little freaky, almost coastal looking blacktail, but pretty good experience. Okay, this next set was a shed that I had found. We were up hunting in the bee zone. I actually found this horn here first, my first ever elk shed. Nice 5-point, great, nice mass on him, nice, decent tines. He's brown. I seen him laying there like this at about 300 yards, 400 yards down a hill, pouring rain. I just seen the tip of him right here, just this little white tip, and for some reason something said stop. And we stopped, and I looked down there with my binos, and I said, "Dad, giant elk shed." I run down there in the pouring rain, and was walking around trying to find the other side. Couldn't find it. Walking back up about 20 feet from this guy, I see the white base of this one right here. Found my first ever elk set, my first ever brown elk shed, and my first ever brown elk set, all in the same day. Just an absolute cool bull. I mean, can't complain for your first ever elk set and your elk sheds. I mean, just couldn't even be happier. I couldn't be happier with this bull here. This is an absolute, he's heavy, nice 5, just very symmetrical, perfect, nice bull. Wouldn't have traded for the world. I didn't know how excited elk sheds would make me, or that I'd like finding elk sheds, until I found these, and I smiled for about the next 3 days. Didn't even matter if I killed a deer. This really made my week here. This shed here I found, we were out shed hunting. No, actually we were out hunting with our bows, and I spotted this off the road. Just a cool little fork and horn. He's just really like boxy, symmetrical fork. I found him off the road. Just a cool buck. Thought I'd share him with you guys. Okay, this next buck here I killed. Me and my dad were out hunting. Just a real pretty buck. Love the velvet on him. Just love how soft and pretty he is. Pretty blacktail. 3 by 2, nice eye guards. We were out hunting. We seen about 6 bucks, and we seen about 6 bucks, and I said, "Dad, let me out." Started sneaking in on him. There's these white boxes for the bees, and I seen the buck walking like this, and I hopped up on the one, drew back, smoked him right in the spine, dropped him in the spot. Cool buck. Fun experience for sure. Okay, next I'm going to show you this guy. If anybody else has a fork and horn bigger than this, I'd like you to post it in the comments or send me an email at ballislifebays, BOESE.com, and I'd like to see one bigger than this. This fork and horn here scored 127 inches as a fork and horn. He's like 24 tall, just unbelievably tall, monster tall. He's He's actually got pretty good main beams. He's got a lot of mass, very massive of a buck, but he has double eye guards. You don't really see bucks with double eye guards like that, and a fork and horn nonetheless. This buck here is an absolute giant, and my dad killed in 2003 actually. This is just a stud, monster buck. If someone has a bigger fork and horn than this, please share it with me. I'd love to see it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the 4 browns that I found, including the big one. This was the first shed I found that day up there hiking. I had hiked up on that hill 3 or 4 times, so my buddy said it was a good spot to go. I should go check it out. Hiked up there, found 7 sheds the one day, nothing. They were all broken, chalky, tiny, little dinky guys. I found this first one, which was my first brown, second brown of the year, but first brown that was pretty decent. I really liked how he just curves and he's just got these swirly horns. Nice 3. I could never find the other side to him. Really wish I could, but just absolute nice buck. The next one I found was actually this guy here, which I thought could have been the other side to, no, it wasn't. It was, hold on one second. I found this guy next, which is the biggest horn that I have found. And I thought that this was the match to this right here, until I walked up on it and I realized it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. I mean, nothing about it was even anywhere near. So when I found this one, I wanted to find the other side. And every shed that I found after that, I thought was the other side to this one or this one. So then when I found that one, that little 3, I found this one. Thought it had to have been the set. This is the set. Got a crazy curve. I mean, the curve on this is just unreal curve. Crazy mass. These eye guards though, bladed out, real sharp, about 4-inch eye guards. Just a total stud buck, okay? I then found this one, which I knew it was the set to the big 4. No eye guard, got a little tiny eye guard here, chocolate brown, nice, tall, decently heavy. Thought it was the match to this buck here. Was it? Good buck. Nothing spectacular. Definitely wasn't a set. But I then came across this buck, which actually is my biggest scoring horn. It's not the biggest horn that I've found, but it is the biggest scoring horn that I've found. He's got absolutely crazy mass right here. This mass right here is just unbelievable all the way through his horn. Great mass here. He's got an insane eye guard, right? Double eye guard, great mass. Little did I know that this, looking at the eye guards here and the base, little did I know that this was a set. Didn't really look like it at first until I really held up the eye guards and held up this buck, and I realized that it was a set. Just an absolute giant blacktail. California blacktail, you guys. Doesn't get much better than this. Never found a mule deer shed. I finally found my first elk set and my first elk sheds. This is my first year shed hunting. I found quite a bit, hiked a lot. This is my best set that I have found so far, biggest set. I really thought that these could have been a set as well. Just kind of different horns, different textures. The other ones look a little bit better. This one would have scored the best. Just giant buck, nice buck. I then found, here's some more sheds for you guys. I then found this crazy elk deadhead, which is my first ever elk deadhead. Just a cool little fork elk. And I found a hog head, which was pretty cool. And a hog deadhead. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. I then found some pretty cool horns. Thank you guys for watching.